Hello, my name is Douglas McDonald. I'm a real estate consultant and mortgage planner with the Franklin Financial and Realty Group, and I'm here today to give you your market update for Wednesday, April 4th, 2007. Stocks are up today because the latest report released by the National Association of Realtors. Now, this report covered the index for pending sales, which is a measurement of homes that are in contract and that are about to be sold. And what this index in February showed was a 0.7% increase. Now, this may seem small, especially when it was compared to last year's number, which was much higher. But, however, it's a lot stronger than what investors expected. The increase reassures us that the housing sector, while weak, is not being torn apart by the subprime mortgage sector. In fact, more homes are being sold as is indicated by this measurement. The economy still has a very low unemployment rate of about 4% here in the Bay Area, which is very low by historic standards. And wages are still strong as a result. Of course, when there's very little unemployment, people can bargain and get higher wages. The higher number for the index of pending sales, as reported by the National Association of Realtors, shows that consumers are still confident about the economy and they're still buying houses. After all, one doesn't run out and buy a house if one thinks the economy's falling apart or if they think that they're going to be losing their job. What this means to you as a future home buyer is that we could potentially see more people entering the housing market than expected later this spring. Therefore, you may want to start looking a little earlier than this summer before other buyers hit the streets so you can snag a good deal from a worried seller without so much competition. Now, the subprime market is still unwinding, and you're still hearing news about this on a weekly basis, and lenders are actually tightening their underwriting guidelines, making getting a loan a little bit harder than it was last year. Now, there's been a lot of attention paid to this news in the subprime market lately, and out of this sector, and rightfully so. Many people are defaulting on their loans who were given one of these loans in the past 3 years, and you may be able to take advantage of this in your negotiations. For example, right now, I have a client in contract on a property in Napa in a neighborhood where the homes are selling anywhere from $5 to $550. He's able to get his for $4.25 because it's a fixer and because the gentleman's in a foreclosure. Now, I have to tell you, we need to look at the hard numbers on this, because the foreclosure rate, although it has increased, is still a rarity when you're looking on the market for properties for sale. The industry reports that between 2003 and 2006, roughly 20% of all mortgages given were funded with a subprime mortgage. Today, approximately 14% of these mortgages are in default. So what this translates into is 2.8% of all the loans that were funded between 2003 and 2006 are now in default. Therefore, 97.2% of all loans funded in that time are not in default. Although foreclosure rates have gone up, finding the foreclosure deal is still like finding a needle in a haystack. They're still hard to chase down, hard to negotiate. I want to give you a little closer insight into the local real estate market. I recently did some research for you and found that in Vallejo there's actually a 13.7 month supply of homes for sale. What I'm underlining here is that this is still a very strong buyer's market, that although you may not find the foreclosure of your dreams, you can still negotiate a very good price. In Benicia, there's a 7.3 month supply of homes for sale. In Napa, there's an 8.2 month supply of homes for sale. In Fairfield, there's a 10.2 month supply of homes for sale. And in American Canyon, there's a 39 month supply of homes for sale. Now, what I mean by month supply of homes for sale is I took the total number of homes that were currently listed for sale on the market, and I simply divided it by the number of homes that sold in March. And what this gives you is the total number of months of supply left. Now, of course, more homes naturally sell as the weather gets warmer, so we expect the supply to diminish over the course of the year. Now, a more normal supply is between 3 and 6%. That's a more normal supply. So while the supply is still high, and before we start seeing more demand come out later this spring and this summer, you may actually be able to snag a few good deals right now on some of these low-hanging fruits. And what I mean by that is get a good deal from some of these worried sellers that have been carrying their house on the market through the holidays. Before other buyers come on the market and get wind that, yes, more people are entering the home buying market, you might be able to outcompete them and get that good deal. Lastly, I want to talk to you real quickly about the Federal Reserve and inflation and what this means to you as far as interest rate cuts. Last Wednesday, the chairman of the Federal Reserve spoke to Congress and said that core inflation is uncomfortably high. Now remember, the Fed's duty is to combat inflation and keep it contained through the use of increasing and decreasing the federal funds rate, which is the interest rates we pay on our mortgage. They're very related. Now, what they're seeing is that the core inflation rate, as measured by CPE, which is basically the costs of goods and services, is actually at 2.3%. The Fed, they want that number at 2%. And until that inflationary number comes down to under 2%, we're not going to see a rate cut, is basically what the Federal Reserve Chairman said. So, unfortunately, although I had hoped for and estimated a potential cut later this year based on some of the problems in the financial markets as a result of the subprime mortgages unwinding and the faltering housing market, we're probably not going to see it until that inflation number comes under 2%. So I'll be reporting this to you on future Market Watch, so keep your ears open on this, and I'll keep my eyes open and report back to you. However, I don't want you to fear a rate increase either, because we're just likely to see the government keep their pause mode and keep rates where they're at. Market Watch. I want to invite you again to click the links in this email to sign up for our free Market Watch service. Simply click the links and fill out the areas that you're interested in viewing and getting property information on, and you'll receive updates by mail or email of all the properties in your search area, pre-screened by me and my staff, where we'll go out and pick out the real gems that you may or may not notice on the MLS because we've probably gone out and seen it in person on one of our tours. You'll also receive our free newsletter that shows you some inside secrets to save thousands of dollars when you buy your next home and how to get the best terms on your next home loan. So I want to thank you again for listening to this brief market update, and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Thanks.